Music theory is really important for every musician. Every musician needs to know how to read between the lines and the spaces, pun intended. Now, some of us might think, oh, music theory is boring. Why do we have to take the time to write out the notes? Why do we have to understand different terms? Why do we have to know what the F means and the P means and different squiggles that are all over the music? But music theory is what music is made up of. So we have to have the foundation of understanding the timing and the rhythm and what note that is, and so on. We have to understand these things to be able to make our music the best it can be. If we don't have the foundation, we don't really have music at all. We have to understand, just like with math, you have to understand 2 plus 2 is 4. And you would have to understand before that 1 plus 1 is 2, and so on from there. You have to understand the foundation. You have to know, with math, you'd have to know what the plus sign means in order to effectively finish the equation. So if you didn't know what the plus sign meant, you would not know how to add 2 to 2 and know that the answer is 4. So it's similar to that in music, and math is in music as well. So we have to understand how many counts a quarter note gets and half note gets and all of that. There's so much to it, but it's very, very important. So I would challenge you to really apply yourself and be diligent with your theory and really pay a lot of attention to this theory class. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so today we're going to go ahead and cover both the treble clef and the bass clef. So let's draw our treble clef. There we are. Now, let's go ahead and start out with our space notes. So we have F, all right, so we have F, A, C, E. Now, what does that spell? If you answered face, you are correct. Great answer. So, the space notes spell face. So if you haven't already, memorize this because it's a great shortcut for note reading. So if you're in doubt of a note, you think to yourself, is this a space note? Is this a line note? And if it's a space note, you go, okay, so let me just say space. Oh, it's a C. So easy as that. And as you do that, it'll become something that you do faster and faster and faster and don't really think about it. To the point, at some point, you're going to have all the notes memorized if you don't already. So let's go ahead and move to our line notes. All right. So space notes, line notes. So we have E, G, B, D, and F. So, for the line notes, I want you to remember an acronym. So we have E for every, G for good, B for boy, D for deserves, F for fudge. And I'll go ahead and erase these. All right. So, memorize this. Every good boy deserves fudge. And these belong to the spaces. Every good boy deserves fudge. Now, I want you to take a minute if this is new to you, take a minute and try to commit some of this to memory. And I want you to continue after this lesson to work on that. And if you already know these notes, go ahead and do a review. It never hurts to do that and to make sure you're absolutely completely solid in your note reading. So, every good boy deserves fudge. And then space notes. F-A-C-E, face. All right, I'm going to give you just a moment to take a look at that and really study it and commit it to memory. All right, an assignment I have for you is to, whether you have staff paper or if you want to write this out, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines and add your clef on there, you can write this out for yourself. You can add the letters and the words and all of the things to it, and you can also make it colorful. So you could color code this, and I would encourage you to take a pretty large piece of paper, just a normal 8.5 by 11, and which would be about this, and write this out. Have it on your wall so you can have that visual and see it often, so you're continuing to commit it to memory. Let's go ahead and move on to our bass clef. So with bass clef, and this is going to be more geared towards my cello students and my piano students and anybody else who is watching this video that is reading off of a bass clef for their instrument. So with bass clef, same concept as the treble clef, where we have a note for every space and we have a note for every line. And later on, when we're playing notes that are off the staff, we have ledger lines. So like a little line extension that would happen. So we'd have like line, line, going down from the staff and then going up above the staff. And we'd have the same thing for our treble clef as well. So middle C is a line and then right there. Okay? So with bass clef, let's go ahead and draw our bass clef. There we go. All right, so space and line notes. So we have space notes. So we have A, C, E, G. Now, a really fun acronym for this one that I want you to memorize if you haven't already is all cows eat grass. So, and the fun part of this acronym is it's very, very true and an easy one to remember. So, all cows eat grass. So our notes are, say them with me now. A, C, E, G. Okay, let's try that again. A, C, E, G. Now, a fun part of this acronym also is that we can go ahead and add. If we use a ledger line up here, we're going to have an imaginary one, or I'll go ahead and try to fit one in here. Is all cows eat grass before, which would be the B, and then we put a D up here and do before dinner. All cows eat grass before dinner. So, we take that off to the basic acronym. All cows eat grass. So, take a minute, maybe write this one down, and let's commit it to memory if we haven't already. Now, another thing that I would tell you with these acronyms on any staff that you're working on is that you can make up your own. You can make up your own acronym, your own word that you can figure out of there. Now, with this one, we don't really have a word. I guess that's kind of more the main one. But point being, you can be creative, and if you want to say every grape, you know, you can come up with what you want it to be. Whatever helps you to commit it to memory is the important thing. So these are just some examples of what you can do to help you be able to remember your notes better and to learn them and just be able to recognize them really quickly. All right, so then for our line notes, we have G, B, D, F, A. So, for this acronym, we're going to use this one today. Okay, so we have great, big, dolphins, fish, a lot. Let's say that one again. Great, big, dolphins, fish, a lot. Okay, so we have G, B, D, F, A. All right. So whether you want to use this or use another one that you want to put together, whatever it takes to memorize. Something that's important to remember with both staffs is that the general rule of notes going up and notes going down is going to be true, and it's going to be the same. So if you start reading a piece and you see notes in a row, let's go ahead and erase this. So we have space. So if you see A, B, C, a quick trick and a quick shortcut that you can use. So if you see 3 notes in a row and they're moving up line or space, line, space, you can know that you're just going to move up one note after another. They're all next to each other. So you can look for little tricks like this. And also, if you have space to space, this is a third. So these are 3 notes apart. This is A and C. There's a note in between that we're not playing. So you're going to skip a note. So you can think of this as a skip. So a third and a second. These are right next to each other. These are 1 note apart. So you can look for little tricks like that. Now you might see this also as line to line. Same rule. This is a third. These are 3 notes apart, so you can know that it's going to be a skip. Or space to line, right there is going to be right next to each other.